Hey everybody, it's Lavender Town, and today I'm turning the Friendship is Magic ponies into humans. And yes, technically there are already kind of canon human designs of all the MLP girlies, but Equestria Girls was questionable, so let's just start over. So I'm going to do this in two steps. First, I'm going to draw the ponies in my own style, and of course we're starting with the main character, Twilight Sparkle. I was a fan of the show when it was first coming out. I was already a big fan of like Adventure Time and other kids' cartoons, and it definitely turned into quite a sensation. I still remember watching This Day Aria for the first time and being obsessed with the song. It just felt so like epic and crazy. The Living Tombstone and other musicians definitely made the show more appealing as well, and there were even some overlap in online communities with like creepypasta writers in My Little Pony, so it's just a very strange mixture of different communities that kind of got into this show that's like for children. So the main character is Twilight Sparkle, and I really liked her right off the bat because she seems like your typical like sort of nerdy, quiet, introverted, bookish character, but I feel like she actually initially shows off a much more realistic and grounded version of this character. Like usually we get sort of like a uwu cutesy version of that girl, but instead she's actually kind of like hostile and like can't get along with the other ponies because she has a bit of like this standoffishness, and I feel like that's actually much more accurate to a lot of like nerdy girls. I know I definitely like related to that. Like when I was younger, I think I came off a little bit the wrong way and like didn't even realize it because I was just like a socially awkward child. It's nice to see in a show, even for young children, a main character who actually has like a real flaw that they actually do have to work on. So that's one of the things I liked about her as a protagonist. Now, me drawing her into pony form, I basically was just drawing her in my style, but I did make a couple little changes just for fun and to better suit the aesthetic that I would draw her in. I actually colored some of her individual feathers, the like bi-flag color palette that she has going on with the rest of her design. And I also just added a lot more details since I don't actually have to animate her and I'm just illustrating her at this point. Drawing her pony form first was fun, but it also helps me like individually realize all the little details of her actual design before jumping into the human design. So she obviously doesn't typically wear clothes in the show. She is a pony, and only a few of the ponies like regularly wear clothes and accessories, Rarity being of course one of them. But she is given glasses in Equestria Girls, which is also something I'm going to do here, and I even did with her pony design just because I thought it looked cute. Now, it is a well-known fact that My Little Pony has always been like the cartoons have always been a way to sell more of the My Little Pony toys. So there's definitely a lot of stuff related to the dolls and the dollification of the characters that you're going to see, especially in the Equestria Dolls line. But in general, even with the show, you notice that they try not to go too far changing the faces or the overall like body structure of the characters because they need to turn them into dolls, and it's much cheaper to have the same base molds for all of the different characters. So that may be one of the reasons why in Equestria Girls and in Friendship is Magic, the characters all have roughly like the same proportions and everything, is just to make it easier for the toys to sell. For my human Twilight Sparkle design, I definitely wanted to lean into this super cute and girly bookish outfit, and I wanted to incorporate elements of her pony design into her character design as well. For me, the braids are an absolute must, and I can't honestly explain to you why. I think just because when it comes to girly, cutesy, academic fashion, I always think about braids, but something about Twilight Sparkle in particular just makes me think that she would have braids somewhere. It also allows me to sort of create a halo around her horn and make it a little bit more visible even though it's so small. And I really wanted to keep the wings because I really liked the aesthetic of having the feathers be different colors that all match. I guess because I just associate her so much with purple, I ended up like tilting it a little warmer in the base. I also made like a pastel version. It almost looks sort of candy-like on the hems of her sweater, and I think it looks so adorable. Sometimes I feel like people go a little bit more like subdued with Twilight Sparkle's outfits and stuff, which I totally understand, but I do think that like she is also like a very girly feminine character, so I wanted to make like a super cute kind of aesthetic for her outfit. And I kept like all the cuts and everything very like dark academia, but I made the colors like these fun purple and pink candy colors, and I think it just turned out so adorable. Oh, and I put her cutie mark on her shoulder. It almost kind of looks like a cool tattoo, which gives a weird edginess to the rest of the design, which is so buttoned up. Next up is, of course, Fluttershy. Now, this was my actual favorite character. I think one of the genius things about My Little Pony Friendship is Magic is I actually unironically could relate to almost all of the main 6, which is really impressive and I think a testament to the writing of the show, making it connect with all types of different people. For me, Fluttershy was definitely the closest. I definitely have a problem with people like not hearing me. Like sometimes I just inexplicably talk way too quiet, even in real life, even when I'm not, you know, recording for this YouTube channel. I tend to be a little bit more soft-spoken. So I definitely related to that, and you know, the whole like yay thing that goes on with Fluttershy, where Rainbow Dash is trying to get her to cheer at an appropriate volume and she just can't seem to do it. I found that very, very relatable. I also definitely was one of those kids in elementary school who just was like loved animals, was obsessed with animals, very sensitive. You know, when it would rain outside and on the like blacktop all the worms would come out, like there were boys in my class who would stomp on all the worms, and like I would like almost be like crying, like so upset, and I'd like try to rush out during recess fast enough to like get them all under the grass. So anyway, needless to say, Fluttershy was definitely a character I could see myself in, and I thought she was just such a cute character. I love her pink and yellow character design. I think pink and yellow is an underrated combination, and it's definitely used to great effect here. It almost makes her look kind of like a cupcake, which you would think is more of Pinkie Pie's kind of thing, but it really does make me think of like the yellow cake and like a pink frosting. I decided to take her color palette and just warm it up a little bit. That tends to be the direction I go with these colors. Like I made the pink a little peachier, and I made her like main body fur tone just a little bit more of like a burnt kind of buttery color, and then I gave her kind of like blush everywhere. I made her wing white and pink, so it's almost like a peaches and cream kind of aesthetic. I was really loving that. I realized as I was drawing them that their skull shape and like head shape is actually closer to like a cat, which I think is part of the reason why they're so adorable. And it is amazing that they were able to simplify the horse shape down until it's actually fun to draw. Okay, let's draw a human Fluttershy. Now for my human Fluttershy, I always imagined her with a bit of that like granola girl sort of like hippie aesthetic underneath it all, because she is so hardcore about her love of animals and she's so into nature that I could definitely see her being one of those girls who goes to like a farmer's market with like a hand crocheted produce bag, and I don't know, I just get like vegan vibes from her, which I guess if she's a pony that's not particularly unusual. Yeah, I just wanted to keep mostly with the color palette that I had selected for her pony version, which is her real color palette just warmed up a little bit. It's like a little bit darker and a little bit warmer. I really liked the white and pink wing. It's very like angelic, which I also really like, and I decided to make her clothes a little bit more like modest, not showing as much skin. I just think because she is such a shy character that makes a lot of sense. With her Equestria Girls version, it definitely looks like it was made to sell dolls. Not to be overly critical, but it doesn't make a lot of sense for her character, I almost feel like. Like her shoes in particular, I just don't really see her wearing those. Like, they're just a little too high fashion, a little too ballet to make sense for her. Though I can perfectly picture what sort of plastic they'd be made out of if she was a doll, and I do think it might be that Polly Pocket plastic that's just so fun to chew on. Her cutie mark has butterflies on it, so I did want to have that like butterfly motif throughout her design, and I ended up putting this little bandana on her head again to get that like granola hippie girl going to the farmer's market vibe that I was going for. I ended up incorporating some more brown into her design on top of the other main colors of this like buttery yellow and this pink color, and I realized she was almost starting to look like a Neapolitan ice cream, which I think is so cute. I do think that if this show was geared towards an older audience, there would probably be more neutral colors in the palette, and I don't think I can really criticize it for being super bright and rainbowy, considering that the actual group that they were trying to appeal to with this cartoon was little kids. So yeah, definitely not a criticism there, but for my own fun redesign, I just thought it would be nice to have some more like neutrals mixed in. And again, I really love that Neapolitan color palette. I actually tried to dye my hair Neapolitan before I really got in the loop of always dyeing it fully pink. So maybe that's part of the reason why I thought brown would be so good in this design. Next up, of course, is Rainbow Dash. Rainbow Dash got so famous even outside of the show, I feel like. That color palette of the sky blue with the rainbow accents is just so good. And there was a song, 20% Cooler, that I feel like got insanely popular even outside of like fans of MLP. So yeah, definitely a very dynamic and beloved character. I really liked Rainbow Dash because I always liked the tomboy character in any show, especially when I was actually like the core age demographic. Like when I was a really little kid and I watched Powerpuff Girls, I was obsessed with Buttercup. Like I just thought she was the coolest and the best ever, and so that definitely primed me to like Rainbow Dash. Rainbow Dash also has like a really cute like husky voice, which you don't hear as often. It almost like reminds me of a lot of like female voice actors who do a voice for like a male character. So yeah, it's almost kind of like the Naruto English voice actor voice a little bit, just very faintly. But anyway, I really wanted to just like amplify Rainbow Dash's design and make her more angular and sharper looking, especially with the rainbow color palette. I thought it would be extra fun to have a lot of like edges and just basically make it look like she doesn't spend a lot of time brushing her hair or her mane, and she's always like flying around at top speeds, so it makes sense that her hair would be a little more punk rock looking, just like a little puffed up. Again, with her, I decided to do the wing as being white and then having a slightly more pastel version of her main color, which made her wing a white and pastel rainbow wing, which I just absolutely love. I think it looks so cute. It makes me think of boxes of crayons and it just delights me to my core. I decided as her sort of like accessory, like the glasses I put on Pony Twilight, I would have some like sweatbands on her little ankles right above her hooves, and I made each one a different rainbow color. I guess all colors are rainbow colors, you know what I mean. And I just think it looks so cute. I tried to make her a little bit like chunkier in the jaw just because I was wanting their faces to be ever so slightly different. I don't know if I really accomplished that. I also gave her little sharp teeth, which I know makes absolutely no sense biologically, but we are dealing in Pegasi and Alicorn, so I think it's okay. Alright, so let's get to our human Rainbow Dash. This is one of the ones I was most excited about. She's definitely one of the more like butch characters. She's a little more masculine in her presentation and the way she acts, and that's even reflected in Equestria Girls. You can see they put her in pants and sort of these sporty high tops. I do not hate her Equestria Girls design, but I do think it feels a little off to me. I think the fact that the green is such a like center part of her hair is actually a little weird. It clashes a little bit with her sky blue skin. I definitely wanted to like amplify her masculine energy a little bit more, especially because I went so super girly with some of the other characters, Twilight in particular. I definitely don't think she would end up shaving her body hair, and body hair on my female characters is something I've been thinking about a lot, so I decided to keep her unshaven, and I really wanted to do a rainbow armpit hair. So I decided to make that part of the character design. I just think it's so funny and kind of cute aesthetically. I do wonder if your hair naturally came in rainbow, if like all of your leg hair and everything would be equally rainbow. Like would your leg just look like rainbow sprinkles if you let it grow out? Makes you think. I ended up giving her a rainbow tattoo. I forgot to actually put her cutie mark anywhere visible, which that was a huge mistake. I was gonna put it on her thigh, I think, originally, but anyway, when you're putting a tattoo on a character, especially a character who's not ultra pale, one of the ways you can make it look more like a tattoo and not like body paint or a sticker or something is to make sure that you color it on a layer above the rest of the coloring, and you make sure it's only partially opaque over top of the skin tone. Because typically with tattoo ink, it can actually only like darken and add pigment, but it's not gonna like take pigment away from the person's skin. So that's just a way to make it look more like an actual tattoo and not like a sticker. That's something that sometimes I forget to do, but it's very simple and it just makes things look so much better and more accurate. I also ended up giving her a Tamagotchi on a little carabiner off her pocket. I just think this is so cute, and it kind of goes with her whole like very loud, overboard aesthetic. I was really obsessed with Tamagotchis, but I never had one, and I got one recently. So that's like a lifelong childhood dream of mine coming true. But yeah, anyway, I love her rainbow wings. I love all the colors. It's just very fun, and just a super exuberant character that I was really fond of. So I'm not going to be able to do the full main 6 just in this video. I'll have to do the other half in another video if you guys like this. But I wanted to do a quick like pony sona of myself. It's something I never actually did when I was into the show, and I thought for this video it would just make a lot of sense, so I just drew her really quickly. I decided to base it off of an Appaloosa horse, which is a type of spotted or painted horse from the area where I mostly grew up in Idaho. So they're basically a type of horse that has like these like dots and patterning and patches, and here's like an image of one up like to just kind of show you what I'm talking about. Because I have like freckles, I thought that would make sense, and they also have like dark feet sometimes, so I also wanted to include that onto my character design. And I decided not to make myself an alicorn just because I thought that was a little too Mary Sue-ish to have both flying and magic, so I just stuck with the wing because I just love the wing, and I think if I had the choice I probably would pick flying over magic, even though magic's probably more useful. I just think it would be great. And I made my cutie mark like a little crayon drawing, a little heart, because obviously your cutie mark has to do with like your skill or your destiny. So for me, I feel like that's always been like art or writing. Honestly, I was shocked at how much fun this was. I highly recommend you trying this out for yourself if you've ever been interested in this show. There's something so like fun about it, and I don't know, it really takes me back to like my time in other fandoms and like drawing yourself into the universe like secretly in your sketchbook or whatever. I think sometimes it's easy when you're like in art school or doing art professionally and like working on comics and stuff. It's easy to forget the stuff that used to really bring you joy when you were like a kid, and what really made you want to draw. And it's this kind of stuff that's like maybe a little embarrassing that actually is so insanely fun and rewarding. So I highly recommend you guys indulge in some past interest of yours, and just see where it takes you and if it inspires you, because it definitely did for me. Okay, here are the first 3 of the main 6. Let me know if you'd like me to complete the lineup, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much to my wonderful patrons, including Viette, Lil Bunny Baby, Raccoon Jam, The Aidenverse, Scott Wilson, Grexius, Olia, Brandon Stark, CB, Lucy Amajiki, Live, Salty Jackrabbit, Ravenscrow, Saucelot, T-Hill Music, Jabber Dabber Doo, Kadaria, Deadly Nightshade Art, Astral Fox Art, The Expressive Poker Face, Tsubaki, Cutie Pie, Ice Cream Pal, Cola, JJ Jade, and of course, Lib.